Brought to you by Penguin.
The Coming of the King by Manda Scott. Read by Philip Stevens.
The fates guide he who will. He who won't, they drag. Seneca.
And thus will it come about in the year of the Phoenix, on the night when the great hound shall gaze down from beyond the knife edge of the world, that in his sight shall the great whore be wreathed in fire, and those who would save her will stoke the flames. Only when this has come to pass shall the kingdom of heaven be manifest, as has been promised. Then shall the temple's veil be rent, never to be repaired, and all that was whole shall be broken, and the covenant that was made shall be completed in accord with all that is written. Prophecy of the Sibylline Oracle, as described to Saulos prior to the Great Fire of Rome in AD 64. Prologue. North Africa, early spring, AD 66. The sun was a scorching ball of fire, roasting the desert and everything in it. Even now, barely 2 hours after dawn. The harsh grey sand took wings, ready to clog a man's lungs within a dozen breaths if he didn't keep his face covered. Underfoot, it was hot as live coals, fit to burn even the healthiest of feet. Saulos Herodian, cousin to the king of Judea, did not have the healthiest of feet. He had lost all the skin of his right sole and half the meat of the heel in Rome's fire, and for the first full year of his time in the desert, he had not been able to place his foot to the sand without screaming. Then, sometime in the winter of the second year, such winters as they had here, news of Seneca's death had reached him. He had few details. Half a sentence passed on with no more value than a handful of dried dates. But even so, what should have heartened him had instead made plain the extent to which his world was passing him by, and he not at the heart of it. Within a month he had learned to walk again. Now, in this second spring, he believed he could run if he had to. Certainly, he was fit to return to the swift-moving world beyond the sands. There was sorrow in his parting. The slender, black-skinned women who had tended him were the same who raised the horses on which they and their menfolk hunted. They had given him a mare as a gift, and offered, with many gestures to fill the gaps in his understanding of their language, to have one of their stallions cover it for him before he left, that he might carry with him a foal of worth into the worthless lands beyond the desert. With as many gestures, he had turned down their offer. The mare was not yet in season, and he could not wait until the moon did its work and made her ready for the stallion. Because he must leave soon. Today. The world could perhaps be persuaded to slow in its turning while a man grew a new skin and rested his soul, but he could not expect it to tarry forever. It was with genuine regret that Saulos rose on his last day among the Berber tribes, broke his fast on the fermented mare's milk and rock-hard dates he had once hated and had come to love, wrapped the loose wonder of his burnous around his head and face, and walked across the roasting sand to the edge of the encampment. Everything was ready. He had no real reason to linger, except that he had a question to ask, and his plans for the future hinged on its answer. He found whom he sought in the shade of the oasis, tending a pair of iron-grey falcons. Without speaking, he sank to his heels, rested.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?